In this captivating blog, we embark on a journey to unravel the secrets of every ghost that haunts this hauntingly unforgettable movie. From the original 1966 black and white masterpiece to the gripping 2001 remake, we delve into the depths of the spectral presence, uncovering their tragic past and the reason behind their spectral torment. Prepare to be mesmerized by the eerie apparitions that wander through the frames, each with its own chilling backstory waiting to be unveiled. As we dive deeper into the tale, we'll decipher the symbolic motifs and hidden messages embedded with each ghostly encounter, shedding light on the narrative's darker depths. Dare to join us as we navigate the blurred boundaries between the living and the dead, attempting to uncover the truth that binds these supernatural entities to the fate of 13. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. 13 Ghosts, 2001. Unleashed upon the world in 2001, this American horror film, crafted with precision by the talented director Steve Beck, took audiences on a journey through the macabre, drawing inspiration from the 1960 film of the same name by the legendary William Castle. It stood as a testament to the enduring allure of the horror genre. The tale unraveled the fate of Cyrus Kritikos, a man of extraordinary wealth and a collector of unparalleled treasures. When Cyrus met his demise, his passing would unleash a chilling legacy upon the living: a mansion, a vast fortune, and the enigmatic collection of restless specters. An intricate web of vengeance, desperation, and redemption began to entangle the unsuspecting characters, ensnaring them in a perilous dance with the otherworldly. But what truly captured the imagination were the ghosts themselves. Each entity, distinct in appearance and backstory, possessed a haunting allure, from the grotesque and menacing to the sorrowful and tragic. They inhabited the Kritikos mansion as both captives and captors. These specters became characters in their own right, woven into the tapestry of the narrative with spectral threads. Let's unravel the mystery behind each one of them. The firstborn son. Within the ghostly world of 13 Ghosts, the spirit known as the firstborn son emerges from the shadows, his presence laden with a tragic and unsettling aura. In life, this ghost was known as Billy Michaels, a young boy ensnared in the tendrils of an unhealthy obsession with the realms of pop culture, particularly in the captivating world of cowboys. Billy's fascination with his make-believe existence ran deep, weaving a blanket of imagination and innocence that shielded him from the harsh realities of the outside world. Any attempt to sever this bond, to tear him away from his beloved fantasy, would ignite a fiery rage within his young heart, fueled by an arsenal of toy guns and an unwavering determination to protect the world he had crafted. Yet tragically, this fantastical realm of childhood wonder would prove insufficient to safeguard Billy from the cruel hands of fate. An ill-conceived duel between children would shatter his ephemeral sanctuary. In a single, fateful moment, a real arrow imbued with lethality Billy had never fathomed pierced through the fabric of his dreams and embedded itself mercilessly into his vulnerable skull. Unlike the nefarious Damien from The Omen or the vengeful Samara from The Ring, Billy's spirit harbored a peculiar innocence, rendering him relatively harmless compared to the other ghastly entities that roamed the haunted realm. The firstborn son lacked malevolence that permeated the very essence of his fellow spirits. Though he did not engage in direct acts of aggression, his spectral presence took on a more subtle and sinister role. The torso. The torso stands apart with a visual impact that lingers in the depths of one's psyche. True to its name, the spectral manifestation materializes as a haunting sight, a disembodied torso swathed in translucent cellophane, a spectral specter frozen in a state of eternal unrest. Before his wretched transformation into this gruesome spirit, the torso was once a man named Jimmy Gambino, a slave to the compulsions of gambling and a notorious figure in the perilous underworld of bookmaking. However, it was the weight of his own addiction that ensnared him in a web of treachery and unpayable debts. sealing his tragic fate. In a world where loyalties were bought with blood and debts were settled with a ruthless fashion, Jimmy's inability to fulfill his obligations to a powerful member of the mob invoked a wrath that mirrored the brutal acts witnessed in the annals of crime sagas like The Sopranos. The criminal overlords, harboring no tolerance for such failures, orchestrated a merciless act of retribution. With unyielding brutality, mob enforcers silenced Jimmy's desperate pleas for mercy, severing him from life's embrace. They callously dismembered his body, leaving behind only his torso as a haunting testament to the consequences of his actions. The remnants of his shattered existence were then unceremoniously cast into the unforgiving embrace of the ocean's depths, forever lost to the world of the living. In the realm between life and death, Jimmy's fragmented spirit found no solace. Bound to his dismembered torso, encased within a shroud of cellophane, the torso emerged as one of the most visually arresting entities among the 13 haunted souls. The portrayal by the talented double amputee actor Daniel Wesley added a harrowing layer of authenticity, breathing life into this horrifying embodiment of suffering and despair. In its terrifying visage, there lay a cautionary tale, a warning etched in the collective consciousness of those who bore witness to the tale of Jimmy Gambino and his tormenting transformation into the Torso. The Bound Woman. The haunting presence of the bound woman casts a sorrowful shadow over the outworldly fabric. Known in life as Susan LeGros, she possessed a life brimming with privilege and popularity, adorned with the trappings of a quintessential high school fairy tale. Susan was a radiant figure, a beloved cheerleader, and the cherished lover of the football team's esteemed captain. Yet behind the facade of adolescent bliss, a dark undercurrent simmered, threatening to unravel the illusion of perfection. An evening meant to immortalize the joy of youth when the veneer of Susan's idyllic existence shattered like a delicate glass figurine. Unbeknownst to her devoted captain, Susan sought solace and affection in the arms of another. Her heart strayed, and the consequences were dire. In a moment of twisted jealousy fueled by a tempest of emotions, her erstwhile lover discovered the betrayal that unfolded before his eyes. Consumed by a maddening rage, he unleashed a savage onslaught upon Susan's ill-fated companion, bludgeoning him to a tragic demise. But the captain's violence did not end there, for his rage knew no bounds. As Susan's life hung in the fragile balance, he tightened his grip, using his own tie as an instrument of her torment. The tie that once adorned his polished attire now became an embodiment of his deranged fury, entwining around her delicate throat, suffocating the life from her vibrant spirit. In the spectral realm of 13 ghosts, the bound woman manifests as a figure of both unsettling and tragic. While her presence instills a sense of unease, she is not an immediate threat, much like her spectral counterparts, like the Torso. Instead, she embodies the very essence of tragedy, a ghostly apparition caught in the harrowing grip of her untimely demise. The Withered Lover. The ghostly presence of the withered lover emerges, shrouded in a veil of tragic sorrow. Her spirit form carries the weight of a devastating backstory, for she was none other than Jean Kritikos, the beloved wife of the film's protagonist, Arthur, portrayed with masterful depth by the esteemed Tony Shalhoub. Jean's inclusion among the initial 12 spirits may have not been a monumental twist, yet it infused the narrative with intensely personal stakes. In life, Jean was the cornerstone of Arthur's existence, a beacon of love and devotion that illuminated their shared world. As a mother to the cherished children, Kathy and Bobby, Jean reveled in the joys of family, nurturing a profound sense of belonging and contentment. However, their idyllic lives were forever shadowed by the merciless flames of a raging house fire, an inferno that consumed all in its path. In a cruel twist of fate, Jean met her tragic end within the fiery embrace of their once happy home. She perished amidst the billowing smoke and the scorching heat, while Arthur and their children managed to escape the clutches of the death's fiery grasp. The anguish of losing his beloved wife and the burden of survivor's guilt seared deep into Arthur's soul, leaving him forever scarred. The inclusion of Jean as one of the initial spirits may have not brought about a seismic narrative twist, but it amplifies the emotional stakes and injects a profound layer of humanity into the story. Her presence resonates with the viewers, invoking empathy and connecting us to the very essence of the Kritikos family's struggle. The Torn Prince. In life, he was a celebrated high school baseball star in the late 1950s. His athletic prowess matched only by the unwavering passion that burned within his heart. Royce Clayton, as he was named, etched his name into the annals of sporting glory, a young man destined for greatness, yet the specter of ill fate cast its shadow upon Royce's path, forever altering the course of his promising future. It was during a fateful drag race, a tumultuous display of speed and adrenaline, that his world was irrevocably shattered, manipulated by the clandestine machinations of his opponent. Royce's once dependable brakes were rendered impotent, a treacherous act that ensured his tragic demise. As his powerful machine hurtled forward at breakneck speed, Royce struggled to regain control, desperately fighting against the forces of fate, but the cruel whims of destiny held him captive, sealing his doom in a violent collision that obliterated his dreams and left his essence forever entwined within the spirit world. Now known as the Torn Prince, this ghostly apparition wields a symbol of the past, a baseball bat, an ever-present reminder of the glory he once commanded on the diamond. Though not the most perilous among the 13 spirits that haunt the Haunted Mansion, the Torn Prince is not without his own means of wreaking havoc upon the living. With his weapon, he unleashes a reign of terror, striking fear into the hearts of those who dare to cross his path. While his presence inflicts chaos and mayhem, it is important to remember the genesis of his anguish. The Torn Prince, burdened by the weight of his untimely demise and the plans of his opponent, is a tortured soul driven by a desire for retribution. The pain of his tragic end fuels his wrath as he seeks to unleash his pent-up frustrations upon the living. The Torn Prince, with his baseball bat as both a symbol of his former glory and a weapon of spectral wrath, embodies the complexities of the human spirit and the chilling consequences that can arise when the fate's cruel hand intervenes. The Angry Princess. This ghost, known as the Angry Princess, materializes an embodiment of profound inner turmoil and the relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal. Born Dana Newman, she graced the world with a beauty that mesmerized all who beheld her. Yet tragically, her own perception of herself was marred by a profound sense of inadequacy. Dana's relentless dissatisfaction with her appearance became a haunting obsession, a distorted lens through which she viewed herself. Imperfections that eluded the gaze of others plagued her consciousness, fueling a destructive cycle of self-improvement attempts through countless surgeries. In a cruel twist, her relentless quest for an elusive perfection only served to exacerbate her self-loathing. To compound her pain, Dana found herself trapped in a series of abusive relationships that further eroded her fragile self-image. The toxic influence of these partnerships perpetrated her internal anguish, compounding the scars that marred her already fragile spirit. It was a life fraught with anguish and despair, a relentless battle against the perceived flaws that plagued her existence. Driven to the brink of desperation, Dana made a fateful decision, one that would forever shroud her existence in tragedy. In a haunting act of self-destruction, she took her own life, succumbing to the depths of despair within the confines of a bathtub, her wrist open to release the anguish that consumed her. When the slimy lawyer character Ben Moss dares to belittle her ghostly nude appearance with a callous comment, he incurs the wrath of the Angry Princess. In a terrifying rage, he becomes the recipient of a vengeance that befits his insensitive cruelty, paying the price for his disrespectful words. As the living characters navigate the treacherous corridors of the haunted house, they confront not only the supernatural terrors that lurk within, but also the haunting echoes of their own inner demons. The Angry Princess stands as a potent reminder that true beauty lies not in external appearances, but in the acceptance and love we extend to ourselves and others. The presence of the Angry Princess serves as a haunting reflection of our collective responsibility to foster a world where self-acceptance and compassion prevail over judgment and cruelty. The Pilgrims. A tragic victim of the hysteria that swept through the dark days of the Salem witch trials in the late 1600s, Isabella Smith, as she was once known, became entangled in a web of accusations and persecution that cast her as a pariah in the eyes of her community. Isabella's status as an outcast marked her as an easy target for the fervent witch hunt that gripped New England during the tumultuous era. False accusations and baseless suspicions were enough to label her a practitioner of dark arts, branding her with the stigma of witchcraft. Even when an attempted burning failed to eradicate her presence, the superstitious minds of the era only further solidified their belief in her perceived hostility. As the weight of suspicion and fear grew unbearable, Isabella found herself condemned to an agonizing fate. Trapped within the confines of the stocks that held her captive, left to endure a slow and torturous death by starvation, her spirit remained eternally bound to the remnants of her earthly prison, a tragic reminder of the human capacity for cruelty and the devastating consequences of mass hysteria. Her appearance and aura bear a resemblance to the haunting narratives of American horror story Roanoke, where the ghosts of the past intertwine with the living, perpetuating a cycle of terror and despair. The ghostly presence of the Pilgrims stands as a stark reminder of the far-reaching consequences of prejudice and hysteria, compelling us to confront the shadows that haunt our society. The Great Child and the Dire Mother. The Dire Mother emerge as a haunting prelude to their dark origin. Margaret Shelburne, a woman of diminutive stature, found herself trapped within the confines of an American Horror Story-esque carnival freak show, a place where the grisly and the extraordinary coalesce. Margaret's tragic tale took an even more harrowing turn when she fell victim to a heinous act, an assault perpetrated by the carnival's tallest member, an embodiment of the very dreadfulness that surrounded them. From this abhorrent violation, a child was born, a towering monstrosity named Harold, destined to carry the burden of his origin. As fate would have it, the carnival's freakish denizens, driven by a dark collective impulse, turned against Margaret, their fellow performer. Their murderous acts of betrayal ignited a powder keg of violence, triggering a descent into madness for young Harold. Gripping an axe stained with both the blood of his oppressors and the taint of his own tormented existence, he embarked on a murderous spree, extinguishing the lives of those who brought him suffering. Yet his rampage was abruptly cut short, silenced by the vengeful hands of an enraged mob. The haunting presence of the Great Child and the Dire Mother resonates with the echoes of American Horror Story freak show, and the line between the monstrous and the marginalized is unceremoniously crossed. The presence of the Great Child and the Dire Mother serves as a reminder of the twisted paths that can lead to monstrosity, urging contemplation on the delicate balance between victimhood and perpetration, between horror and empathy. The Hammer. The Hammer stands as an embodiment of terror, a figure whose horrifying presence sends shivers down the spine. In life, the Hammer bore the name of George Markley, an honest and hardworking blacksmith nestled within the confines of a tranquil small town. His existence was one of quiet contentment until an unjust accusation shattered his idyllic world. Falsely charged with theft by a man of privilege, tragedy struck George as his beloved family met a cruel and merciless fate at the hands of their assailants. Overwhelmed by anguish that coursed through his veins, George was consumed by a tempestuous fury, driven to seek retribution for the loss he had endured. Armed with his trusty sledgehammer, he unleashed a torrent of vengeance upon those responsible, their bodies succumbing to the brutal force of his blows. Yet justice eluded him as the townfolk turned against him, their prejudice fueling a horrific act of collective punishment. The life of George Markley was extinguished in a gruesome spectacle, his body desecrated by the piercing impalement of railroad spikes driven through his flesh. In this tale of tragedy and racial injustice, 13 Ghosts subtly touches upon the darker undercurrents of society, offering a fleeting glimpse into the complexities of a bygone era. As the Criticos family becomes ensnared within the web of the haunted mansion, they are confronted by the terrifying might of the Hammer. His relentless pursuit and fearsome sledgehammer serve as a relentless reminder of the unyielding consequences of injustice and the cyclical nature of violence. In the face of this malevolent force, the family must summon every ounce of courage to confront their own fears and unearth the secrets that bind them to this spectral realm. The Jackal. Among the treacherous assembly of spirit, the Jackal emerges as a volatile and capricious entity, embodying the very essence of unpredictability. Once known as Ryan Kun, the tortured soul wove a tapestry of depravity and cruelty that sent chills down the spines of those who dared to cross his path. From a young age, Ryan displayed a sinister proclivity, his twisted desires driving him down a path of violence and sadism. As a compulsive predator, his insatiable urges led him to commit heinous acts of sexual violence, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. Recognizing the depth of his depravity, Ryan sought solace within the confines of an asylum, hoping to find redemption and a respite from the darkness that plagued his soul. Alas, the sanctuary of the asylum proved to be a mere illusion, unable to contain the unhinged malevolence that festered with Ryan's being. Lost within the labyrinth of his own fractured mind, he descended into an abyss of madness, his sanity crumbling like a fragile facade. The asylum became a crucible of torment, its fiery grip ensnaring Ryan in a blaze that devoured both flesh and spirit, consigning him to the realm of the damned. Unlike the disfigured visage of Freddy Krueger, another tormented spirit born of fire and fueled by predation, within its shadowed corridors, the jackal stands as a reflection of the darkness that resides within us all, reminding us of the fragile balance between our light and our most primal impulses. The Juggernaut. Horace Breaker Mahoney, known as the Juggernaut, stands tall as the epitome of peril. As the most formidable and menacing specter among the 13 ghosts, he assumes the role of his veritable final boss within the twisted black zodiac. With an imposing physical presence reminiscent of the mountainous titan, Horace's dark history casts a long and chilling shadow. In life, Horace Mahoney descended into the depths of sadistic madness, adopting the guise of a seemingly ordinary man while harboring a sinister secret. Like a predator stalking its prey, he would lure unsuspecting hitchhikers or offer aid to those stranded on desolate roads, entangling them within his wicked web of deceit. Once ensnared, his true nature would be unleashed with savage ferocity. Within the confines of his foreboding junkyard, Horace reveled in a reign of terror, perpetrating heinous acts of violence upon his victims. With merciless strength and an utter lack of remorse, he would tear their fragile bodies asunder with his bare hands, their screams lost in the night's unforgiving embrace. In a grisly culmination of his depravity, their remains would be consigned to the ravenous hunger of his canine companions. The Broken Heart. Within the intricate machinations of Cyrus's Criticos grand design, the 13th ghost held a pivotal role, intended to be none other than Arthur himself. Like a sinister puppeteer manipulating the fates, Cyrus envisioned Arthur, the protagonist and unsuspecting pawn, to become the Broken Heart, the final piece in his malevolent puzzle. This carefully orchestrated plan aimed to activate the enigmatic Basilius machine, an infernal contraption fueled by the essence of the departed, a gateway to near unfathomable power. However, fate would intervene, altering the course of events in unforeseen ways. Despite Cyrus's calculated intention, Arthur defies the predetermined script, surviving the perilous trials within the haunted house. The prospect of Arthur embodying the Broken Heart, a ghost of profound despair, remains unrealized. Yet, within the haunting of 13 ghosts, the ethereal essence of Dennis Rafkin emerges as a spirit. Though not initially part of the Black Zodiac, his tragic demise and subsequent manifestation transforms him into an honorary 13th ghost. The delicate interplay between life and death casts Dennis as an unexpected participant in the twisted web woven by Cyrus. Early hints in the narrative suggest the possibility of Cyrus himself being the 13th ghost, sowing seeds of intrigue and deception. However, the unfolding tale delivers an unexpected twist, revealing Cyrus's meticulously orchestrated charade. His death, though seemingly genuine, proves to be a fabrication, a calculated ruse that maintains the facade until the climactic showdown within the house's depths. In the crescendo of the film's climax, Cyrus meets his ultimate demise, no longer capable of returning as a ghostly apparition. 13 Ghosts, 1960. 13, a remake of the 1960 film 13 Ghosts, offers a stark contrast, particularly in its depiction of the ghosts. In the original 1960 version, titled 13 Ghosts, the exploration of the titular spirits is rather limited, with no explicit naming of the ghosts haunting the Zorba family's inherited house. Furthermore, the ghosts in the 1960 film exhibit less violence, both in their actions and their circumstances surrounding their deaths. By today's standards, the appearance of these spirits may not evoke the same level of terror, but such evolution in horror perception is expected. Just as the iconic shower scene in Psycho, though iconic in its time, may not evoke the same fear it once did when screened in 1960. Let's find out more about these 13 spirits from the past. The Screaming Woman. From the depths of the unknown, the haunting presence of the Screaming Woman lingered on Earth after her mortal demise, burdened by the weight of the unsettled matters that denied her passage into the beyond. As Dr. Zorba ventured across distant lands, his restless exploration led him to an encounter with an enigmatic spirit. The veils of time concealed every trace of her identity, leaving her past, deeds, and demise shrouded in impenetrable darkness. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, he seized the opportunity to ensnare the Screaming Woman, binding her ghostly essence within the confines of this opulent mansion. Therefore, her being transformed into a puzzle forever trapped, vanishing amidst the fabric of forgotten tales and unanswered enigmas. The Clutching Hands. The life and demise of the Clutching Hand remains veiled in obscurity, with no knowledge of its past or the circumstances surrounding its death. After its earthly departure, the spirit of the Clutching Hands found itself bound to this realm, unable to transcend. In the midst of Dr. Zorba's worldly explorations, fate brought him face to face with the entity known as Clutching Hands, prompting him to seize the opportunity and confine it within the confines of his mansion, where it would forever remain captive. The Floating Head. After the Floating Head's mortal demise, his presence lingered in the earthly realm, ensnared by unspoken and enigmatic troubles that barred his passage into the great beyond. Dr. Zorba's worldly wanderings guided him to a fateful encounter with the ethereal entity known as the Floating Head. Drawn by the allure of the mysterious and the desire to tame the unknown, he orchestrated the capture of this elusive apparition, confining it within the confines of his formidable mansion. Thus, the Floating Head's essence became captive, forever bound within the walls of its ghostly prison, the secrets of its unresolved past swirling like a fallacious mist. The Flaming Skeleton. The Flaming Skeleton, the fourth imprisoned spirit within the mansion of Dr. PLATO Zorba, bore the unmistakable mark of a fiery demise. Its spectral form, engulfed in flames and reduced to skeletal remains, hinted at a tragic fate consumed by an inferno, leaving nothing behind but charred bones and ashes. Upon its demise, the spirit of the Flaming Skeleton found itself shackled to the earthly plane. In the course of Dr. Zorba's journeys across the globe, luck conspired to unite him with this fiery apparition. Recognizing an opportunity to harness its enigmatic power, he skillfully captured the Flaming Skeleton, confining it within the very confines of his mansion. Thus, the spirit's essence became forever bound within those walls, a relentless flame forever trapped, its unresolved issues flickering in the depths of its spirit form. Emilio. In life, Emilio was a skilled Italian chef whose story took a dark turn. Stained by violence and betrayal, his hands were stained not only by the artistry of culinary creation, but also by the blood of his own family. Emilio murdered his mother-in-law and sister-in-law, driven to a murderous rage upon discovering his wife's infidelity with another man. With his trusty meat cleaver, he extinguished the lives that had betrayed his love and trust. As a ghost, the visage of Emilio takes on an eerie form, devoid of a complete body. His presence manifests as floating arms adorned with a tattered apron, the iconic chef hat atop his head, and a distinguished handlebar mustache that once marked his earthly existence. The ever-present embodiment of his former profession, Emilio clings to the symbol of his trade, forever clutching the large meat cleaver that was once an extension of his deadly raid. Within the mansion's haunted walls, Emilio's tortured soul finds no respite, reliving the harrowing moment of his wife's betrayal and his subsequent act of violence. The ghostly reenactment echoes through time, a perpetual cycle of anguish and retribution. As the Zorba family enters the mansion, unaware of the dark history that permeates its halls, Emilio's ghostly presence stirs, catching his wife in an embrace with her lover once more. His spectral rage takes hold. Milk and flour are sent cascading through the kitchen as Emilio hurls his cleaver, narrowly missing the unsuspecting Cyrus Zorba. Emilio's wife. In life, the woman who became known as Emilio's wife shared a fateful bond with the Italian chef. Their union, tainted by betrayal and shattered trust, led to a devastating climax that forever marked their intertwined destinies. While the specifics of her background and identity remain veiled in mystery, her role in Emilio's life holds profound consequences. As a spirit trapped between realms, Emilio's wife lingered on Earth. Within the shadowed corridors of the mansion, the echoes of a tragic love triangle unfold. Emilio's wife, locked in a spectral loop, repeatedly finds herself in the embrace of her forbidden lover, only to be discovered and met with a grisly fate at the hands of her enraged husband. As the ZORBA family enters the mansion, unaware of the haunting history that engulfs the residence, the ghostly presence of Emilio's wife lingers, perpetually entangled in the web of her past actions. Emilio's wife's lover. In the aftermath of his demise, the lingering essence of Emilio's wife's lover found itself trapped on earthly grounds, unable to transcend to the next realm. Within the confines of this imposing estate, a haunting spectacle unfolded time and again. The lover, consumed by an insatiable desire, would succumb to temptation, drawing Emilio's wife into passionate embraces, and you know the rest. Within the mansion's shadowy corridors, time stood still and the air grew heavy with an otherworldly presence. The tortured souls, their expressions etched with agony and remorse, were condemned to relive their own tragic saga, forever trapped in a never-ending purgatory of anguish. And the cycle continued, a haunting testament to the unbreakable bonds of love and betrayal, where the spirits of Emilio, his wife, and her lover were doomed to eternally relive the torment of that fateful discovery, their spectral forms forever trapped in the throes of passion and tragedy. The Hanging Woman. The figure known as the Hanging Woman shrouded her existence in an impenetrable veil of mystery. Her appearance alone was enough to ignite rumors and legends that whispered of her alleged crimes as a practitioner of forbidden arts, a witch condemned to the gallows. After her untimely demise, the spirit of the Hanging Woman found itself caught between realms, unable to transcend the afterlife. Intrigued by the allure of the unknown and the potential secrets she held, Dr. ZORBA took it upon himself to capture her spirit, ensnaring it. The echoes of her tumultuous past reverberated through the mansion's corridors, whispering of the injustices she endured and the dark arts she was accused of practicing. The Hanging Woman's presence permeated the air, suffused with an aura of ancient power. Her spirit, both defiant and mournful, remained suspended in a state of perpetual unrest, denied the solace of release. Her unresolved issues, like invisible chains, held her fast, denying her the freedom to ascend to the realm beyond. It was within this haunting tableau that she awaited a glimmer of hope, a chance for the answers and resolution that would finally grant her restless spirit the peace it so desperately sought. The Executioner and the Head. The Executioner and the Head are a peculiar duo bound by an enigmatic connection. The head, a floating remnant of a once vibrant being, appeared as though it had been separated from its body for an unknown transgression. Long hair cascaded down from the detached neck, its color fading into a ghostly gray. There was a certain aura of mystery surrounding the head, as if it held the secrets of a forgotten past. Across from the disembodied head stood the Executioner, a curious entity bereft of a complete form. Only a pair of muscular arms floated in the air, emanating an uncanny strength. In those powerful limbs, the Executioner wielded a large, medieval-looking battle axe, a relic of a bygone era. Its presence alone hinted at the Executioner's role in delivering judgment and retribution. Together, the Executioner and the Head presented a puzzling tableau, leaving observers to ponder the circumstances that led to their peculiar union. Lion Ghost. This majestic creature played an integral role in Shadrack the Great's daring act, captivating audiences as it fearlessly allowed Shadrack to insert his head into its powerful jaws, defying the realm of danger. For countless performances, their unyielding bond of trust and skill mesmerized onlookers. Yet fate can be a capricious companion. On one fateful day, an unforeseen tragedy unfolded before the horrified eyes of the spectators. The lion, known for its unflinching restraint, unexpectedly bit off Shadrack's head, an act that defied all expectations and shattered the illusion of safety. The inexplicable incident left both the audience and the lion in a state of shock and disbelief, forever altering the course of their shared destiny. In the aftermath of the incident, time took on an elusive quality, obscuring the exact length of its passing. The lion, despite its extraordinary actions, appeared outwardly as another ordinary lion would. Its physical form, even in death, mirrored the timeless majesty of its species, concealing the tumultuous events that had unfolded within its lifetime. Driven by his insatiable curiosity and his desire to tame the ethereal, Dr. ZORBA captured the lion ghost, incarcerating its restless essence. Within those hollowed walls, the captured spirit shared its eternal abode with the ghost of Shadrack, and so the lion ghost became a reluctant resident within the realm of the living, trapped within the walls of the mansion that harbored its spectral essence. Shadrack. In the mesmerizing world of the circus, a daring and audacious stuntman named Shadrack commanded the spotlight. As discussed in the Lion Ghost section, Shadrack astounded audiences as he fearlessly inserted his head into the open maw of his lion, defying the boundaries of mortal danger. For countless performances, their mystifying partnership captivated hearts and minds, leaving spectators breathless in awe. In an ill-fated turn of events, the lion delivered a fatal blow by abruptly biting off Shadrack's head, casting a shadow of horror and disbelief upon the onlookers. In that chilling October of 1898, Shadrack's life was tragically cut short, leaving behind a void in the circus world and an unresolved tale of his final moments. Yet Shadrack's journey did not end with this untimely demise. Within the walls of Dr. Zorba's secluded sanctuary, Shadrack's ghost found himself in the company of the very lion that had brought about his demise. The spirit of the lion, forever entwined with the tragedy it had unwittingly caused, shared a haunted existence with Shadrack within the eerie depths of the mansion. Plato Zorba. Within the intriguing lineage of the Zorba family, Dr. Plato Zorba played a pivotal role as an uncle to Cyrus Zorba. However, his tale took a dark turn, marred by betrayal and a thirst for hidden wealth. It was under the veil of night that Dr. Plato Zorba met his untimely demise, his slumber interrupted by the treacherous hands of Benjamin Rush, who sought to claim the house's concealed treasure. In one fateful act, the life of Dr. Zorba was extinguished, forever altering the course of his existence. But death did not mark the end of Dr. Zorba's story. Rather, it heralded his transformation into the 12th ghost to inhabit the very house he once called home. Bound by ethereal chains, he became a restless spirit, forever entwined with the enigmatic abode that held the promise of hidden fortunes. As Dr. Zorba's fascination with the supernatural grew, he embarked on a quest to convert his wealth into a more tangible form. Stocks and real estate were transformed into coveted cash, accumulating riches beyond imagination. However, it was the act of concealing this wealth within the very walls of his mansion that brought forth disapproval from his loyal servant, Elaine Zacharides. Her disdain for the accumulation of material treasures clashed with Dr. Zorba's relentless pursuit, sowing seeds of tension within the spectral halls. Within the confines of the house, Dr. Plato Zorba's spirit lingered, haunted by the choices and desires that led him down this path. Benjamin Rush. In the tale of relationships and secrets that wove through the Zorba family, Benjamin Rush played a dual role. Once a cherished confidant and best friend of Dr. Plato Zorba, he ultimately succumbed to the darkness of greed, sealing his fate as a cold-blooded murderer. It was within the confines of this haunting tale that the night unfolded, revealing the treacherous path Ben had chosen. As the hands of time ticked away, Ben found himself within the foreboding walls of the Zorba house. Aware of the impending revelation that Buck, a member of the Zorba family, was drawing closer to uncovering the hidden fortune, Ben embarked on a mission. He cunningly persuaded Buck to guard this newfound secret, urging him to keep it hidden from his own family. The allure of wealth and the promise of unimaginable riches clouded Ben's judgment, leading him deeper into a labyrinth of manipulation. However, the weight of the secret became too burdensome for Buck, and against Ben's wishes, he confided in his family about the existence of the concealed treasure. The revelation set tremors of apprehension through Ben's being, plunging him further into a desperate state of paranoia. On the following night, consumed by fear and the need to maintain his grip on the secret, Ben hatched a sinister plan. He set his sights on silencing Buck, utilizing the falling canopy bed, a relic from Dr. Zorba's past, as a tool of darkness. In the shadows of that fateful moment, as Ben sought to erase the potential threat to his ill-gotten gains, the ghostly figure of Dr. Zorba emerged. In an act of spectral justice, Dr. Zorba's ghost unleashed his supernatural fury upon the treacherous Benjamin Rush. The very bed that Ben had intended to deploy as a weapon transformed into an instrument of his own demise. The hands of Dr. Zorba's ghost constricted around Ben's throat, suffocating him within the confinements of the falling canopy bed. The vengeful spirit of Dr. Plato Zorba stood as a spectral guardian, ensuring that justice was meted out to those who sought to exploit the secrets of the past. Conclusion: 13, 2001, and 13 Ghosts, 1960, both contribute to the rich genre of horror cinema, offering unique and chilling interpretations of supernatural encounters and spectral haunting. The 2001 movie embodies the horror sensibilities of its time, showcasing the technological advancements and visual effects that mark the turn of the millennium. On the other hand, 13 Ghosts, 1960, presents a classic and atmospheric approach to ghostly encounters. Through its black and white cinematography, eerie ambiance, and psychological suspense, it showcases the haunting allure of vintage horror. As time goes on, both movies will continue to hold their significance in the horror canon, reminding us of timeless fascination with the supernatural and the eternal allure of the spectral realm. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!